Hello and welcome to this sustainability short on climate adaptation. We'll explain the basics and spark some ideas on how to adapt to climate change in the built environment. Weather is the word we use for day-to-day atmospheric conditions, while climate is the average conditions over a long period of time, usually defined as around 30 years. The Earth's climate is dynamic and has always changed. For example, during the last ice age, around 11,000 years ago, ice spread as far as Tennessee, whereas 50 million years ago, during the Eocene, there was no polar ice cap. The climate a region experiences can be classified by certain characteristics. The USA is lucky enough to have a diverse range of climates, from tropical conditions in states such as South Florida and Hawaii, to Arctic and alpine climates in Alaska and across the Rocky Mountains. The concentrations of greenhouse gases in our atmosphere affect our climate. In short, as amounts of greenhouse gas increase, the atmosphere's ability for it to trap energy from the sun also increases. This then has a direct effect on the climate we experience and is linked to changes such as higher temperature, more frequent and intense storms, rainfall, wildfires, and droughts. These changes then impact us, for example through crop failures, destruction of property, and even impacts to human health, for example during a heat wave. Without rapid emissions reductions, there is a high chance we will reach 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit, 2 degrees Celsius, or more of warming since pre-industrial levels by the turn of the 22nd century. Adapting to these changes is important for your business and supply chain. For example, if your business is based in New York, hurricanes and floods may become more common. Conversely, businesses in places like Texas may struggle with more severe heat, cold, and drought. So, it is important to understand, now more than ever, the impacts of climate change on your business and how you can adapt. You can adapt to climate change in two key ways: adaptation and mitigation. Mitigation measures are activities which you can do to reduce emissions of greenhouse gases in the first place. For example, putting solar panels on your office building to reduce reliance on the electric grid, which may currently be generated by burning of fossil fuels. Adaptation involves making changes to the way you do things, taking into account the impacts associated with climate change. For example, developing contingency plans for extreme weather events. Both adaptation and mitigation are critical for business to effectively respond to climate change. There are many ways you can adapt to the impacts of climate change across your business. Let's look at an example. Flooding is an issue in many parts of the U.S. Adapting to increased rainfall or the frequency of once-in-a-lifetime extreme storm events are likely to require increased stormwater runoff or storage. This could be achieved through hard engineering, for example, storage tanks, or a more nature-based solution involving the development of wetland areas, swales, and lakes to store water, which could benefit biodiversity too. Taking effective climate change adaptation steps will ensure that you're prepared and resilient for the future ahead. For more detail on climate adaptation and where you can go to for further support, head over to our Introduction to Climate Adaptation e-learning module.